Hello, we're going to go over our linear 6, 7, and 8 test review. Number 1 says, draw two graphs that represent a function and fill in the table with the values that show y as a function. So it's very simple. One of the things that you want to make sure you're not doing is having the same x value have multiple y values. So just come up with a function, just come up with an equation. Pretty simple. For example, you can go to your y equals and go, I would say maybe 2x plus 1. And then go to your table, so second table, and then just input your values. You have 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5, 7, 9. You can plot those 0, 1, 0, 1, it's your y-intercept, 1, 3. Okay, and just connect those. So again, make sure that your x does not repeat, or the x doesn't have multiple y values. So number 2, it says draw two graphs that represent a function, fill in the table with values that show you y is not a function. So in this scenario with a graph, you can do a vertical line test. So if I have a graph that looks like this, based on my vertical line test, it intersects at 2 points, so it's not a function. How that would look on a table, maybe you have your x inputs were 5, 6, 5, 7, 8, 10, 15, 17, 20, 25. You notice here you got the same x value, two different y values. Doesn't work. Alright, moving forward, domain and range. So your domain deals with your x values, your range deals with your y values. So what you want to do here is you want to go ahead and find sort of kind of like the boundaries of your domain range. The way that we started, we always started with this inequality set here. And then we're going to fill in our numbers and then change the inequality symbols based on whether the dot is closed or open. So domain, going from left to right, the leftmost point would be this one here. The rightmost point would be this one here. So that would be negative 1, 2, 3. So negative 3 to positive 2. And the dots are closed, so that means that your inequalities have that line underneath it. Okay. With the y values, our lowest point here is this, and our highest point would be up here. So on our y column, it would be a negative 1. Our highest y value would be. Alright, so our y value, lowest y value would be negative 1, highest y value would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, our dots are closed, so line underneath it. Is it discrete or continuous? Remember this continuous, you measure, discrete you count. In this scenario, there's not obvious points, so we're going to go with continuous here. Number 4, we can answer quickly, continuous or discrete. We're going to go with continuous. Domain range, remember your domain is x, your range is y. So leftmost side would be, go ahead and start with this. Leftmost side is negative 5. And then your rightmost side would be negative 2. Again, here your dots are open, so keep your inequality symbols how they are. On your range, your lowest number would be negative 4. Highest would be positive 4. Again, my dots are open, So keep your inequalities the same. Okay, number 5, write the domain and range of the function shown using inequalities. Again, same concept. We're going to go ahead and start with this for your domain, this for your range. Alright, leftmost side of this graph would be here. So between -4 and -6, that would be a -5. And the rightmost side would be here, which would be +8. Now on the left hand side, the leftmost side would be closed, and on the rightmost side would be open, so leave the inequality how it is. On your range again, your lowest value here would be here, so -3, and your highest value would be between the 4 and the 6, would be the 5. Here we have open, so leave the inequality symbol. Here we have closed, so we just put a line there. Alright, number 6, give the function k of x is equal to 6 minus 2x. What is the domain of the function of k if the range is this? So easiest way here to understand, they give you the y value, so you want to go ahead and look for your x values. So you want to find your domain. Quickest route to do this is go to your calculator, y equals, and go ahead and plug in the equation 6 minus 2x. 6 minus 2x, and go to your table, second table. Alright, so they give you the range, you want the domain. So the domain for that, so when y is 22, your x value is going to be -8, so -8. When your y value is 14, x value is -4. When your y value is -6, +6, -16, +11. Last one, -22, +15. Alright, this November, advanced students are selling candy bars to students to raise money for the program. John, a advanced student, is estimating that he will sell between 50 and 60 candy bars. The candy bars will be sold for $3 each. Make a table with possible values for the number of candy bars sold and earnings. So, here, our table, your total sold would be your y values. And what they're charging for each, or how much, the number of candy bars would be your x values, and the earnings would be your y values. So if you create a table, okay, you want to understand what your 3 each means. That means each would be x, so 3x. You're wanting to see where 3x would be 50, and where 3x would be 60. And that would be your range. So on your y, I would start with 50. Maybe do 55, or maybe 60 over here. So what are possible earnings? Because they want them between 50 and 60. So you can just go to your table. Or you can do here, you can divide 3 from both sides to get how many candy bars would cost $50. So 50 divided by 3, you get 16.6666. Obviously you can't get 16.6 of a candy bar, so go ahead and do 17. So 17, let's go ahead and start a new table. 17, so 3 times 17, you get 51. And then do 60 divided by 3, so 60 divided by 3, that's 20 candy bars, so 20 candy bars would cause 60. So 17, 18, 19. So 18 times 3, 54. Then 19 times 3, 57. So possible range, domain range, or table with values, x values 17, 18, 19, 20. Y values 51, 54, 57, 60. So that would be what they're trying to sell between. Alright, number 8, a customer pays an annual membership fee of $85 to Neighborhood and Car Wash. Each time he takes a car wash, he only pays $7. The total amount of money that he spends on the car wash in 1 year in dollars can be found using the function y equals 7x plus 85. So in this scenario, it says, what is the slope of this function, and what does it represent? The slope is 7. Remember, y equals mx plus b. M is your slope, 7 is in front of the x, so 7 is the slope. So what does it represent? That every time he goes, he's going to have to spend $7. So the amount of time that he goes would dictate how much money he's spending. Your y-intercept would be 85, because that is your b. So 85 would be your y-intercept, and that represents the starting point. So before he even goes, he spends $85. Alright, number 9. A savings account balance can be modeled in the graph of a linear function shown on the grid. Use the graph below to determine the rate of increase. So in this scenario, the rate of the increase, so rise over run, so 50 to 150, that's 100 over 1. Okay, so it looks like they're increasing, or you're depositing $100 every time they go. So what is the domain range of the function if only 4 deposits are made? Okay, so from 0 to 1, so it would be x, y, so 0 deposits to 4 deposits, so 0 deposits, you already have $50, and to 4, it would be $450. Now, you notice I went ahead and did inequality symbols. Why? Because at any point in time they can spend that money, right? They can pull that money out, so it not necessarily always stays $100 more every time. So that's just a regular scenario there for you, real life scenario. Alright, halfway done. Let's go to number 10. Number 10 says determine the slope and the y-intercept and zeros of the linear function. So first of all, the y-intercept is fairly simple in this scenario. Here's where this line crosses the y-axis, which would be negative 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 4 for your y-intercept. Your x-intercept, or your zeros, is where your graph crosses the x-axis. So that would be negative 1, negative 2. Your slope is rise over run. So from this point to this point, if you notice, you're going down 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 4. And then over 1, 2, so 2. What does that reduce to? Negative 2. So that would be your slope. Next example, again, your y-intercept is fairly simple. Negative 3. And your x-intercept, or your zeros, are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Rise over run for your slope, so up 1, 2, 3. So up 3. Over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then that reduced to 1 over 3. Alright, number 11. They're asking you to find a solution of the inequality. Here you solve this just like doing equations. Draw your line. So distribute your 6. That means you're going to multiply everything by the 6. So you're going to get 6x plus 6. Bring down the minus 3. So on this side you have 3x. Alright, so from here, combine these two, so you have 3x equals 6x plus 3. Alright, now you're going to move the 6x over to get all the x's on the same side, leave this 3 by itself, so minus 6x, minus 6x. You get left with negative 3x, and then 3. Then your last step is to divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. So your answer, you have x, 3 divided by negative 3 is a negative 1. So your last step, you divide it by a negative. What does that do? It causes the symbol to flip. So every time you divide by a negative, you flip that symbol. So every time you divide by a negative at the last step. So my inequality symbol is going to be this way. Alright, so here just pick a spot, put a -1 there. We know that our dot's going to be closed. Remember, this and this is open, this and this or this is closed, right? So in this way, it opens towards the -1, meaning that all those values, those x values, are going to be smaller than -1. So which way is it smaller? To the left. So your arrow would be pointing to the left. Alright, number 12, do the same thing. Alright, distribute the 4 over, so 8x plus 4 minus 8, 16 minus 2x. Combine these two things, so 8x minus 4, 16 minus 2x. Alright, I'm going to move this over here, so I'm going to add 2x to both sides, 2x. So I have 10x minus 4. These go to 0, bring down your 16 that you didn't use. Add 4 to both sides, balance in your equation, 16 plus 4 is 20. This is 0, 10x. Your last step is to divide by positive 10. Divide by positive 10. So you're left with x and then 2. Positive 10 means that your symbol stays the same. So just pick somewhere where to put a 2. Let's say I put a 2 here. My dot is going to be open because there's no line in the inequality symbol. Here it says that your x values are bigger than your 2 because it's opening towards the x. So the numbers bigger than 2 are going to be to your right. Okay? 13, solve for n. Again, go ahead and distribute the 0.75. So 0.75 times 3. 0.75 times 3, that gives you 2.25, so 2.25 n. 0.75 times 4. 0.75 times 4 is 3, so minus 3 equals 5.5 n plus 10. So here I'm going to move over this 2.25, so minus 2.25 n minus 2.25 n. 0, bring down your -3. Okay, so 5.5 minus 2.5, so 5.5 minus 2.25, 3.25, so 3.25 n plus 10. Move this 10 over, minus 10. Minus 10, so you have -13 equals 3.25 n. Your last step is to divide by 3.25. Divide by 3.25. So -13 divided by 3.25. So -13 divided by 3.25. You get -4. So n is equal to -4. Okay. Write it in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So solve for y. So move this 4x over, minus 4x. Minus 4x. So you get -6y minus 4x plus 12. Divide by -6 from both sides. Divide by -6. So you remember you divide by -6 from both of these. So you get y equals, so -4 divided by -6. Do it in calculator. -4 divided by -6. Enter. You get decimals. So if you go to math, enter, enter. You get the fraction, so 2/3. So 2 over 3x. And then 12 divided by -6. So 12 divided by -6. You get -2, so -2. Slope-intercept form. Pretty simple stuff, right? Alright, last page. Number 15. Sheet sizes and foot lengths are related in the formula S equals 3F plus minus 24, where S represents the shoe size, F represents the length of the foot, in inches. Solve for F. So here we're rearranging things. S equals 3F minus 24. So you want to get F by itself. So what you do here is you move over the 24, so plus 24, plus 24. So you have S plus 24 equals 3F. Last step is to divide by 3. So you get F equals S plus 24 over 3. Number 15. Converting Fahrenheit temperatures to Celsius and vice versa is something that you use in science. The formula can be used in C equals 9 over 5 over 9 parentheses F minus 32, where F is the temperature. In Fahrenheit, if the body temperature house cat is 40 Celsius, what is the Fahrenheit temperature? Okay, so you have, we do this a couple of different ways. So Celsius is 40, so you can put 40 equals 5 over 9 F minus 32. You want to solve for F, so what you want to do is get rid of this fraction that's being multiplied. So remember, how you move this over, you don't divide by a fraction, you actually multiply by its reciprocal. So you're going to multiply both sides by 9 over 5. 9 over 5. So your calculator, you can go to alpha y equals, so alpha y equals enter, and then you're going to put 9 over 5, and then times 40. Okay, and you get 72. So 72 equals F minus 32. So add 32 to both sides. So 72 plus 32. 72 plus 32. You get 104. So F equals 104. Alright, number 16, draw a linear function f on the grid that has a 0 of negative 3. That means your x-intercept is negative 3. So in your x value, put a negative 3 dot there. And then just draw me a function. Pretty simple, right? Draw a linear function where on the grid that we're a 0 of negative 2.5 or 2.5. So somewhere between 2 and 3. So that's where your 0 is at. And then draw me a function. Got it? Number 17, last but not least question. The graph shows the linear relationship between the maximum area square in square feet that can be painted and the number of gallons of paint used. Determine the rate of change of the maximum area painted with respect to the gallons of paint used. So, determine the rate of change. You determine the slope. So pick 2 points. Very, very simple. This point here, and we go with this point here. Rise, run. So 200 square feet over 0.5 of a gallon. Okay. Well, you can do 400 over 1. 400 square foot per gallon. Okay. In this scenario, what this graph represents is going to go on forever, so it doesn't stop.